It's like they do it on.
Okay, so welcome everybody to today's talk, mini training, mini masterclass on AI. Now, before I get going, I have been working hard in the background on something that I discovered yesterday, which is quite profound. And that is, if you're not using ChatGPT and you're not training it on your business context, then it's going to be more difficult for you to be found. Now, this is important for us because ChatGPT search is going to roll out. It's already rolling out. Sorry, I'm just seeing how to, I want to make my slides bigger. Yeah, here we go. So ChatGPT is rolling out search. This is going to have a profound effect on businesses using any other platform online. Because what's happening with ChatGPT search is when you carry out search, it's actually keeping everything in the platform. So it's going to give you direct answers to questions, super, super quick, which means that people aren't going to be going to people's websites as often. And it also means that you can do things like watch videos inside of search. Now, as I was tinkering around yesterday, what I discovered was that if you are looking for a consultant, a coach, a service provider, someone that you want to work with, and you go into ChatGPT and you do start asking questions, the answers are far superior to what you will find online. So what's happening is, and I actually don't think anyone's figured this out yet. It's only because I like to put the human in AI that I think I've come onto something quite unique and special. And that is that you can start to ask emotional intelligence questions. So you can get under the skin of who that individual is. You can ask questions that you cannot ask online. So you can quickly get results to, is there any bad press about that person? What's the level of emotional intelligence of this person? How do they like to be connected? What I mean by that is, what type of email could I send to them that would resonate with them? So there's a whole load of questions that you can ask ChatGPT that you cannot get answers for with inside Google or any other platform the same way, unless you're using some sort of AI tool, which, to be frank, these are for big businesses and none of us can afford. So in the background, I've been working on creating I've called it Unity AI. And what it's going to do is it's going to search with a combination of ChatGPT and Google and social sites, and it's going to create a report based on emotionally intelligent asked questions, which is very different to what we can actually access at the moment. So this is a real game changer. And I just want to emphasize this because it's important that people are now using ChatGPT in their business to train it on their business, on their style, so they can be found more easily. It adds another layer of, what's the word, transparency. And I think it will help people make much faster, much quicker decisions when it comes to actually hiring your services. Because if you've got information in there, and we can dig a little bit deeper into who you are, if you think about this in the context of know, like, and trust, it is a super, super fast way to find out whether someone is trustworthy and credible. So when people are making a decision, whether they want to pay 10K, 5K for a high-end program, rather than initially making the decision based on little information, they can actually do a much deeper and a much thorough search using ChatGPT. This is, as far as I'm concerned, this is a real game changer for small business owners. And it's going to be interesting to see how things develop over the coming months. ChatGPT search has been rolled out in America currently. I have seen a glimpse of it previously because I think they accidentally released it. And then they accidentally released it And yeah, I got insights into it there. So let's get going. What I will do is I will give you a demonstration later on of how you can, because the Unity AI that I just created will give you an insight into how you can use ChatGPT on an emotional level. Because my business ultimately is all about putting the human into AI and not having AI replace us. Okay, so there's a lot to go through. If you've got any questions, pop them in the chat box. I will try and answer them. I'm just not very good at speaking and, hi Ali, speaking and reading at the same time. I have a real problem with it, but there will be time to answer questions. Maybe I can stop at different points and see if anyone's got any questions. Maybe that's the best way to do it, actually. Okay, so empower AI agents, supercharging solopreneurs with efficiency and growth. So we're going to take a bit of a look at ChatGPT later on, as I said, but I'm not someone who thought, oh, let's jump on the AI bandwagon. To be honest, I think I've been hiding in a hole somewhere because I had no idea about AI, which is weird because I spend a lot of time online. But I started using ChatGPT because I wanted to see how it would help me manage my dyslexia. And yeah, it absolutely blew my mind, and it has completely transformed my whole business, and not just my whole business, but from an emotional confidence level and self-esteem. Because I consider ChatGPT to be a partner, I consider it to be my second brain, is that my confidence, my self-esteem, I now feel that I'm on the same page as other people. Being dyslexic can be quite challenging in business because I always felt that, you know, I wasn't good enough, I couldn't compete, but now I'm actually well ahead of the game. And what AI does, and I'm talking about ChatGPT here because that's my area of expertise. But basically, what it can do is it can stop a lot of the time-consuming tasks that you need to do for your business. It can help you to enhance customer communication. And also, it can help you to really identify how the business can grow. So, you know, what do you need to let go of? What do you need to step into? What are the services of it that you can, what services it is that you have that you can enhance? Or, you know, what new services is it that you can create? Because it will take a holistic analytical view of where the business and you are at by bringing the two things together. So by going through what I call workflows, you can reclaim over an hour a day, easy. You can reduce your overheads, not your overheads, your outsourcing costs. And ultimately, if you step into the growth element and you really look at your services, you can naturally increase your sales as well. And that really comes through better customer communication, because you can speak to them in their tone of voice and how they can best hear you, which sometimes, my side anyway, is a bit lacking. So where we want to be in the business is burning bright. So just think of a candle, you know, and you've got the wax dripping down the sides, and we want to be burning bright in the flame. But ultimately, what happens when we're running our own business is often we get stuck in the wax of the candle. It becomes really hard work. We get stuck into the day-to-day grind. It's not much fun. We're just doing rinse and repeat, and we're not really seeing any growth. Where we need to be is in the flame, burning bright, attracting things towards us, not stuck in the wax of the candle. So when you use workflows and you use ChatGPT's tool to create a little GPT, which fulfills a specific role, you can turn tasks that used to historically take hours literally into seconds. It's absolutely mind-blowing. So what it can do is it can do the heavy lifting for you. So you can step away from those tasks and you can feel confident and reassured knowing that actually they're probably going to be done better than you would have done them, because it's not just using our intelligence and how we like things to be done, but it's using a much bigger, broader picture, which means that we have the ability to step outside of ourselves, which is important in business because we often get in stuck in our own way, stuck in our own mindset. So creating workflows and little GPTs, I call them Empower AI agents. It opens up a gold mine because it releases you from other main mundane tasks it is that you do in your business and spend a considerable amount of time on, that you can actually find a much smarter and faster way to do it. So the evolution is ChatGPT 4. Actually, there was the free version. I started using ChatGPT 4 about a couple of years ago, I think it is now. And I've been using that up until the recent upgrades over the last month. And that has been absolutely fine. I've used it to create my empowered AI agents, and I've used it to write books, to do masterclasses, to do social media, a whole heap of things. So what's happened in the last 6 weeks or so is we've had preview, which is new, and also something that's not on here is Canvas, which is phenomenal, absolutely mind-blowing. So ChatGPT 4 is for your basic questions. Preview is for really complex situations. And actually Canvas is really good for reports, article writing, emails, letters. It's very different to 4. I'll show you a little bit later on what the difference is so you can get a feel of it. So it is growing rapidly. And I think with the development of 0.5, which will probably come out next year, is that this is the way I see it, is it's going to turn into a platform where you do everything inside of it because it has access to the whole world. Whereas if you think about some of the other platforms, they just have access to that platform. So if you think, it's not a typical search environment. You can access it to do multiple different things, multiple different layers. And I think the greatest gift in terms of how I use it is, as I said, as my second brain. You know, I can ask questions, I can get feedback. It's a sounding board. It will make happy to make critical decisions that you can't get. You can get it in other platforms, AI platforms, but the diversity is what really attracts me to ChatGPT. So we no longer now have to keep prompting, and people are still fixated on prompting because that's what's been pushed out by the gurus. But there is another and a much smarter way to make your life a lot easier, basically. You can create empowered AI agents. And as I said, what they do is they fulfill a specific task, a specific job it is that you need doing much more quickly. So you don't have to keep going in and prompting, asking question, because they're created and set up in the background to fulfill a specific role. So all you need to do is to drop your information into it, your content into it, and then it will give it back to you in the way that you want it given back to you. So there are 2 different types of empowered IA agents, and we've got specific and general. So specific ones will be created for a business that wants to use its data, its information. So it's always 100% on point. It's aligned with the business. So not all of your AI agents need to be created that way. General is when you can set them up to fulfill more general tasks. So email marketing, customer engagement. One is business specific and one is more general. So the ones, I have some business specific ones, but actually most of the ones that I create now are general because other people are using them. So workflows are becoming increasingly important. And this is what I want you to think about when you are using ChatGPT, is to think about actually what's the workflow? How can I think of this in terms of a process? So what are the steps within that workflow? And actually, can I set up an app, little GPT, a AI agent to fulfill that specific role? Because that will significantly reduce your time and you'll be able to build it into a workflow which will help you to complete a specific task, which it's absolutely mind-blowing. So if we think that, so when I talk about a workflow, what I'm thinking of is, let's just take a blog post for example. So to write a blog post, you need, so content marketing, you need to understand what it is that you want to write about. Not everybody can instantly think of something to write about. So I've got a empowered agent that will help people to, well, it pulls out 30 ideas that they can write about, but not only that, in line with what it is that people want to read about. So you've got a map of 30 ideas that you can write about. So you're just going to pick the one, and then you want to write a blog post. So you have another empowered AI agent that will write the blog post for you because it's been set up with the formula that you want to create. So what the blog post looks like. So headings, paragraphs, introduction, bullet points, however you want it to look. Everyone's got their own unique style. And it will also write it bearing in mind with best practice of SEO, so you don't have to worry about that. It will identify the keyword, so you don't have to worry about that. And it will give it to you so Google and search engines can find it more easily and it can be indexed more easily because there's quite a skill to article and blogs online. There is a formula that goes behind it, which we don't have the knowledge of. I always like to do my headings separately. So I have one that creates the best headings. And also what's a real pain as well is when you put your article on your website, you have to do the meta description and all the back end twiddly bits to make sure that it's found. So this is a workflow. Identify topic, write the blog post, find the best heading, and create the meta description. Those are all the steps that you need to take to have a successful blog post article on the internet. They all work together. So what would historically take, oh gosh, I mean, you're talking 3 hours probably to do this, probably takes you about 5 minutes now. So you've cut your workload down from 3 hours to 5 minutes. And this is just one example, but I think it's easy to get your head around. So once you've done that, you can repurpose it into a newsletter. You can repurpose it into social media content, post for sharing, and then give the link and have that content coming back to you, people coming back to your website. And you can also now, very quickly, in 5 minutes, create a podcast. Okay, this isn't your voice. This is two people having a conversation about the article it is that you've written. But even so, complete game changer. So all of this again, 10 minutes, mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. But with workflows, the thing to remember is that it's like Lego. It's like building a house. You need the foundation. You need the foundation in. It's, what's step 1? What's step 2? What's step 3? What's step 4? And you build your agents around each step. You don't create them to fulfill the whole process, because if you do that, it's too consuming and overwhelming. But so think of it in terms of simplicity. And, you know, when you, let's just take creating the blog post, for instance, you want to think about one GPT, one agent fulfilling a specific role, rather than, as I said, having everything in it, because it will get overwhelmed, it will get confused. So when you program your AI agent, it's will you have, I teach a 16-step process that we go through and then we upload it. If you're doing it freestyle, it takes a lot longer to do. So the process is a smooth journey for ChatGPT to understand what it is that needs to be created. Otherwise, it just gets confused and it doesn't give as good an output as it needs to. So the time you can save is honestly, it's just bonkers. So writing a blog post, as I've just mentioned this, writing a blog post, writing a newsletter, writing social media posts. You know, I would literally spend a day, a week doing it. Now, because I've got it down to a T, I just spend, gosh, I don't know, altogether, end to end, probably about, actually creating it, probably about 10 minutes altogether. Actually, what's more challenging is then you've got the content and you need to give it to your VA or upload it into your content management system for it to go out. Now, in terms of the creation process, so I go through a 16-step proven formula that I've created to create the AI agents. But what's running in the back of them is always the best practice standards. So in terms of writing a blog post, there are standards that you need to incorporate in, because Google likes content to be written a certain way. The SEO likes it to be written in a certain way. So it's always about incorporating the best practice into each of the agents. And what I say to people is also the advantage of creating them separately is that you can use them at different times. So even though you've got a workflow that you're taking yourself through, you know, you might need a heading for something. So you can just pop the copy in there and then it's going to create a heading. So you'll use them at different times. The one that actually does the back end of the website, I'm constantly using, I put pictures in it and then I get it to describe the picture. So I use that one separately. So they're much more diverse. So the secret sauce, and this comes back to what I was talking about at the beginning, and this actually is more important than ever now, is that one of the things that I help people to do is to create a competitive edge roadmap. And that basically goes through the business, it gets information about the business, it sets it in context. And we have that document that we upload into ChatGPT when we're doing something important, because it sets the stage, it sets the context, it sets the tone of voice, it gives specific information about your business. So the output it's going to give you is always, it's in line with the essence of your business. And at the beginning, I was talking about why it's so important that businesses now need to be on ChatGPT is because they're bringing in search. And if you are not using it, if someone searches for you or searches for a service similar to you, you're not going to be found. You're not going to be found if you're not using it, because there's not as stronger footprint. So the analysis I was doing yesterday was that I did a comparison between someone who's using it and someone who's not using it, and the output is just completely different. So if people will catch on that you can use ChatGPT to carry out a very different type of search when you're looking at businesses and you're looking at people it is that you want to work with. Because we can now, and this is completely new, we can now bring a human element into search. So we can ask emotionally intelligent questions, which we cannot do online. And this is important when it comes to the secret sauce, because you need to train ChatGPT on your business, who you are. Otherwise, it's going to go around the internet and it's going to come back with really poor quality information, most likely. So that's really important. There are a lot of steps that go into creating an agent. And remember, this is to actually save you time, because once it's created, it's created. Then you don't have to keep prompting, reprompting, getting the information out, time consuming, getting frustrated, not getting the context you want. So there's a lot of steps that need to be gone through to actually train the AI to give really, really good output. And a lot of this actually comes into the competitive edge roadmap that I help people to create, because it gives the tone and sentiments, it gives the consistency, the contextual understanding. So this is what sets the tone of voice for the business, which is really important, because this is where people are going wrong. They're just prompting, they're then moaning about the quality of information that they're getting out, because it's not good enough, because they haven't set the scene. They're just asking generic questions. So they're just getting rubbish output. The reason why ChatGPT works so well, or how you can make it work so well, is you have to get into the nuance of who you are, and you need to share that in the conversation. So don't think of it in terms of prompting. Think of it as business partner, confidant, someone who you're having a conversation with backwards and forwards. So it's starting to understand who you are and what it is that you want. That way you'll get a much better output than just prompting and not giving much information. So I'm going to give you a demonstration of a workflow, how it all comes together, so you can actually see it in practice. That's the word. I forgot what the word was. You can see it in practice. But so this is one that I created, and she's updated slightly, and I do give all of my agents names. So this one's called Wendy. It is a business coach, and what she is designed to do, I say he and she, lost the plot. It's he, she. What she does is she will take a business challenge and she will help you resolve it. So she'll go through a series of questions, you'll have a conversation, and by the end of it, you'll have made a decision as to what you want to do. It's fast, it's smart, it's based on NLP, I can't say it, based on NLP, it's based on sentiment of writing, it's looking at patterns, because that's the way that I've set it up. And I've set it up in the context for small businesses, coaches, consultants, and therapists, specifically for that group of people, because that's ultimately who I work with. It's really, really smart. So another one that I've created, so remember, these are all fulfilling just one specific role. So Wendy deals with business challenges. Yes, from a broad context in terms of what challenge it is that person is facing. But Sophie is created to just create certification programs. So she'll take someone from beginner to advanced. So what she'll do is she'll help you map out the process of what actually needs to go into it. So once you've given the business context on what it is that you want to do, she's going to actually help you to create a certification program. So she's just purely designed to fulfill that specific role. So Star is designed to, let's just say you've written a report, you're not quite sure about it. What you can do is you can pop it into ChatGPT. It's going to summarize it. It's going to tell you what's good, what's bad, how it can be improved, what's missing. You know, you can say, I want the emphasis to be on does this really come out? And then you can focus in on what it is that is missing. And I have a couple of people who have done this, and they've used it to secure funding. And both of them, one is in Thailand now, she secured funding, and Nikki it wasn't about funding, it was about a collaborative project with someone, which she's doing now. So it's really useful because, again, it helps you to get out of your own way. It helps you to see what's missing, or what you need to, what strengths of yours can you lean it more into. Very smart. So Milani, we worked together, and she created a sales page. So these are GPTs it is that she's created: sales page, webinar, newsletter, summit marketing copy, course creation, training resources. She's a builder. She likes to create. But her sales pages would cost her thousands, thousands and thousands, no exaggeration. And now she's just doing it herself because the process is already locked in that she needs to go through. So she doesn't need to pay excessive amount of money because she can do it herself. The other thing is that it's quicker. It's much, much quicker. So there's no going backwards and forwards. You don't have to rely on other people. It's much, much quicker. So Maria, she did a certification program with her course syllabus. She writes lots of content, ebooks, resources. She's really, really embraced AI. And it's funny, when I did a search on, because I've taught her how to program ChatGPT to actually understand her business, and because she uses it a lot, she, when I did a search for her with inside ChatGPT, I could ask as many questions as I wanted, and it would give me an answer because she's prolific. I can't say the word. She's using it a lot. So what AI does ultimately is it frees up a lot of time, but it also moves you in a space for your business in terms of peak performance, because it makes things much easier. It means that the relationships that you've got with your clients in terms of communication is much smarter because you're meeting them where they're at, rather than, I'm going to base it on mine, but my written communication, because of the dyslexia, isn't that good. So I like this because I can mirror their language and give it back to them in a way that they understand better, and in seconds. I don't even have to think about it. So moving into peak performance, that frees up a lot of time, which means that you can do one or two things. You can either take the time off and enjoy it, or you can think about, actually, how can I scale the business? What else is it that I need to focus on to bring in more business? So you can use it either one or two ways. You can either take it off, or you can think about, okay, how do I want to grow the business? So let's hop across to ChatGPT. Let me just, okay, here we are in ChatGPT. What I want to do though is I just saw, where's my, come on. I'm looking for the, I don't think I can do it when it's on share. I was looking for the join now button, but okay. So when we started, I was talking about the emotional search that you can now do using ChatGPT, and why it's so important for businesses now to be really considering using it, because so many, I can't, it's something like 2 million, or it might be more than that, a week people use ChatGPT. And some research that came out was saying that 23% of people are now using it to search for services. So that's a lot. That's a lot of people that are using it to search for services. And that's only going to get bigger because of the New search criteria that's coming in. So I just want to show you. So when you create your agents, they sit here on the left-hand side. And I've got, I mean, I don't know how many I've got. I've probably got about 30 of them. And it hasn't limited me in terms of how many that I can create, but you will not need that many. And what I've done is, so I work several different ways. People either work with me one-to-one, they learn how to create their own workflows, but also what I've done now is I've actually just created them for people so they can buy them as a group. So they don't have to create them, learn to create them. So what I want to do is go to my GPTs, and this is the one I've been working on this morning. So what this one is going to do is it's going to carry out a search and create a report based on that person. And it's doing it, it'd be funny if it doesn't work, because I've just been doing it this morning. It works on how I've set it up in the background. So it's got an extensive configuration. So these are all the instructions that I've used to create it with, which is quite extensive, which is why I now give people access to them, because this is a lot for someone to do. So I'm just gonna, I need a name. Actually, maybe I'll just use my name. I'm not sure this is gonna work as well, giving my own name. So what it's gonna do is gonna search for me online. So it's searched 3 sites. Search my own. This is one where I did a podcast, and it's also searching Bing as well. Interesting that it hasn't, I think, interesting that it hasn't done Google. Something in my head is reminding me that it's saying to me, I think Google has already shadow banned ChatGPT because they're in competition with one another. Let me just go to, I just want to find a better name rather than myself. So let's go to Jamie. Okay. Let's do. Now, don't worry if you can't spell like me. Provided the name. I have created this one. I've created this one to help people find collaborations. Okay. So if I put Jamie in Mastering Network, it's going to create a report. Okay, so it's creating a report based on how I've programmed it. So it's going to give me information really quickly. Who is he? Top strengths. This information would be so difficult for me to find. What should I be aware of? Emotional analysis. Events that he's appeared at. Now, once it's given you this information and you want to dig into something a little bit deeper, so values alignment, I'm matching my values against his and whether this is going to be a good collaboration for us or not. Potential blind spots, the tone of how to approach him. I mean, it's just nuts. What good collaboration, Vic, you're like this. What good collaboration opportunities are there? His leadership style. So you can really, I'm still working on this because for me, there's some ethical issues going on here, which I need to wrap my head, around. So there's quite a lot of information here on Jamie because he's already using ChatGPT extensively. If I was to pop someone in who isn't using ChatGPT as extensively, it won't give me as good an output. It'll be much thinner. And if they haven't got any digital footprint at all, there'll hardly be any information in this at all. So this is really quite unique. But what you can do, as I said, is you can dig into it deeper. And it'll go off and it'll do it. So I've just said, provide the social media links. It's probably going to ask me which ones. We can general place. No, search the internet. Titch. So it doesn't matter who can't spell properly. Yeah. So here you go, Facebook, Instagram. So it will instantly start. But you can start digging into any of this information deeper, which is incredible. It's just absolutely mind-blowing. So this is a completely different type of search. This is much more of an emotional intelligence search rather than a cold factual search, which you carry out on Google. So let's have a look at the workflow. Okay, let me just take this. So what I say to my clients is, I'm just going to use social media as an example because actually this is the one that generally seem to create. So what I say to my clients is during the week, right? If you've got insights into something that you want to share, if you've got tips that you want to share, if you want to say that you're at an event, basically you just keep the document and you keep your insights on the document. And then what you do at the end of the week is that when you're bringing your social media together, you think about, okay, so let's bring my social media plan together, my content. So what Steve will do, so this is like the first step in the process. What Steve will do is he will create a first person quick story. Now, it's been set up in a particular way to mirror the individual's language. And then it's creating a story that you can then use as a basis to create your newsletter, to create your blog post, to create your social media. You use this as a foundational piece, if this is the story that you want to use. And then you copy and paste this copy into the other agents. So it spins it out with the essence and the context. So you could either share the story straight, which is what I would recommend you do, so you can add it in. But it's made up of 3 elements: story, key insights, and it's giving me a second story. So the first story is giving key insights. It's also giving some text for an image if I want to put it on. The second story is focused in on actionable tips. So these type of stories, particularly this one, is quite relevant for LinkedIn if you're using LinkedIn. But as I said, this is how I think of it. Step 1. Step 2 is then how I would do it then is to write a bite-sized newsletter. So this has been set up different to the first story. So it's going to read through it, and then it's going to write a newsletter based on the essence of this copy that's just been created. So what you can do is have a read through. The more you do this, the more accurate it is. And this is when I say training ChatGPT to understand your business, this is all part of it. It's the nuance, it's the context, it's the story, it's the copy that you would be creating anyway. So this is part of its learning process, which is great. So we've now got a newsletter that you can use. If you don't like emojis, you could take them out. If you don't like the structure, you can redo the structure. If you want it to have an emphasis on something else, you can have an emphasis on something else. I probably wouldn't bother because for me, I trust this and I know that it works for my audience. So what we can do then is, so we've got our newsletter, but you might want it to have a different tone of voice. So we've got the newsletter. You see how quick this is to create. Newsletter. What do I want to do now? I want to turn it into social media posts for the week. So I can go two ways. I can either create social media for the week. I can write a blog post and put it on my website. So what it's going to do now is it's going to create a week's worth of social media posts that I can just copy and paste. You can remove the hashtags if you don't like the hashtags. You can, once you've got the basis, your book website, interesting. Oh, that's because it's about my book. I was thinking, why has it got that? But if you've got it on your website, what you can do is you can just pop the link in and say, add this link to all of the social media, and it will add the link in. It will just rewrite it and add the link in, which is great. It saves you a lot of work. If you just want to focus in on LinkedIn, you just say, just do all the copy for LinkedIn. You want to focus on Facebook, just do all the copy for Facebook. But basically what you've done is you've created a story, a newsletter. You've now got 7 posts that you can share on social media, which will take people back to, if you've got it on your website, depending where you've got the newsletter, to really raise that visibility. Yeah, so it's broken it down, Twitter, Facebook. And of course you can do more. It's just I say 7 for one post is sufficient. You don't want 1 for one post because no one will see it. But what you want is 7 different pieces of copy in relation to that one post, because then people have more chance to see it, and different copy resonates with different people. So what you can then do to create even more content is you can pop the copy back into Ben. And what Ben's going to do is, I don't like other people's quotes. I like my own. So, because I just think they're more aligned, they're more powerful. But what it will do is it will read through the copy, and then it will turn the copy into quotes directly from the article, from the newsletter. So what you can do here is you can either just post it. I mean, you've got 9 days worth of content here, and they're done in different tone of voice, different tones of voices. So educational and insightful. If you know that your audience likes a specific style, tone, you can just say rewrite in this tone, rewrite in this style, and then it will re-go through the document and redo it for you, which is really, really, really cool. So that's quick. But what you can do, as I said, is paste them like this so they go out. But then you could also, depending on where your initial big copy is gone, whether that's a blog post or a newsletter, you can then put in a link which takes them directly back to the article it is that you have written. There are lots of different types of workflows that you can do. I'm just using social media because it's easy. It's just easy. Everybody gets it. So this is one where I've created that you can create a quiz on any topic. So you would just put in, and then what it's going to do is it is going to create a quiz. And then it's also going to give the answers at the bottom. So what I would do is I would just read through it and I would make a decision. Is this good enough? Okay. I would go through it and say, is this good enough? Does it need to be for beginners? Does it need to be for advanced? Does it need to be more niche specific? And then it'll give me the questions and the answers. So that's really cool. That's the start of lead generation. You also need your email follow-up from that as well. And you also need the copy for the actual page that people are going to register to do the quiz. Or you can add this into your website or into your newsletter, you know, depending on how it is that you want to use it. So if we look at workflows, different workflows for a second. So social media is, as I said, when people think about it, it's the most easiest one to understand. So there's a process that people go through. You know, they create stories, they share quotes, they need catchy headlines, they write newsletters, they write articles, they then turn that into social media copy. Depending on which platform you're on, you then create the hashtags. You also will have events or things that you're marketing on social media. So these two agents, they turn your sales copy into a mini ad for social media. So you don't have to think about it. It does the date, does the time, does the investment, it does the benefits. So it brings it together in a nice formula that you can adapt and change or not. So social media is one big workflow in its own right, but you can use all of your AI agents separately. You don't have to, you know, go through all of them. The sales copy one is separate in its own right. The hashtags is separate in its own right, but they all make up a journey that you need all the moving parts and all the different elements to play together to make it work. So as I mentioned earlier, getting the ideas, the right ideas for writing content around, getting the key insights from an article so you can make it better, writing a 1,500 word article, which would be a challenge for most people to do, but it will do it in a couple of minutes once you've got the basis of the copy. Figuring out the back end in terms of what actually needs to go into your platform. Another workflow, certification, you know, building your certification, hosting a webinar, doing the emails. Okay, doing the emails. So these are all different types of workflows. Creating your quiz, creating the copy that follows up, creating the copy for the sales page. So you've got the quiz, you've got the copy for the sales page, and you've got the emails that need to go out. These are all individual steps. This is a really good one. You know, taking all your client testimonials and creating a really specific client persona, which is actually quite challenging to do for a lot of people, but you can do it from all your testimonials. You can then turn what you have learned from those testimonials and identify actually what are the specific challenges that those people have. You can then turn those into inspiring stories. You can also turn them into hero stories. So this gives you a really solid foundation to not only create new services and really understand your clients, but also to be 100% accurate and on point with what you are sharing. Sometimes people clutch at straws as to what they should be sharing, whereas this makes it super, super, super easy. So, does anyone have any questions? I think I just saw something in here. Let me read it a second, because please do jump on, and then I can go through anything with you. Oh, they're on the, someone's left a message saying that they're on the train. Signal keeps dropping out. Um, won't connect, so yeah. Okay, also interested to know what you'd charge to get these AI systems set up. So these ones are already set up. I've created all of these. They're all ready to go. So the cost for the bundle. So what I'm going to do is these are already set up for people to use. I'm going to add new ones each month. So I'm going to add new workflows when yeah, these ones are already set up. These are all ready to go. But my plan is to add in more. So yesterday I was doing videos, and I was thinking, actually, what's the process for the video? That will become a workflow, and I will set up the AI agents to do that specific workflow. So there will be more added, but at the moment there are 20 of them. And I would say start simple, depending what it is that you identify that you need help with, but just keep it simple in terms of what you're creating. I do everything in Spanish and English. Would this work? Yes, it would work. You can use it to translate. Let's just ask the question. If in doubt, just think, second brain. Oh, why can I not get rid of that? Second brain. And just ask. Oh, I didn't want it in the memory though. Yes, it would work for you. If your operation is both Spanish and English, you can easily adapt content and AI prompts to both languages. So, yeah, what you would do is let me just get rid of this. You would just ask for it to be written in Spanish.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, just ask for it to be written in Spanish and it will do it. I'm not sure why it gave us this though. Maybe I'm in an old chat. But the thing is that the more you use it, the more it does it in line to your tone of voice in terms of, because it has a memory. When you have the paid version, it has a memory, and you can update the memory with what's important to you. So you have to be careful that you don't have anything in here that, like I took out the Spanish, that you don't have anything in here that belongs to a client. But this is important, the memory. Ali, are you on the free or the paid version?
Free.
Yeah,
Because I only started like last month.
yeah, yeah. You'll need
But
that. You'll
I
need,
need the paid version. I know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You need the paid version, and then you can set it up in. Also, you can set the custom instructions as well, which will mean that it's more in line with your business.
Because I have to do everything in both.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, it looks like your name's in Spanish. No, not in Spanish. In is that Korean?
No, it's Chinese.
Oh, it's Chinese. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Do you have clients in China?
No, but I'm learning Chinese. I'm in a Chinese group.
Ah, right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, yeah.
I should have took that off, sorry.
Yes, no, it's all right. I just thought, Wendy, to decide what we need, I tell what I do and what I need, and you recommend the agents for me. Okay, so what do you need?
Well, I write a blog every week.
Yeah.
I do a newsletter and I include the link of the blog in the newsletter.
Yeah.
And then I write on social media. I've got two Facebook groups, one English, one Spanish, two Facebook pages, one English and one Spanish.
Yeah.
And I write on, yeah. And then, but I've got all my themes that I write about on an Excel spreadsheet because I
Yeah.
know the themes that I want to write about because
Yeah.
I I help women in menopause, so I know all my themes and also
Yeah.
other themes like sports or hobbies and things like that. So I've got all that done. So I really don't need so much ideas because I know what I want to write about.
Yeah.
Well, I think they'll tell me some things I should write about too, but um, at the moment, yeah, because it takes me a lot of time.
Yeah. It won't anymore. It won't anymore. What was I going to say? When
I
you
think it's
write
the
your
social media that takes me longer.
yeah, when you write your content, is it in line with SEO best practice, or are you just writing?
No, I write it in the past. I've done it myself. I know each paragraph I have to put the words, the SEO words in. So
Right.
if I'm writing about hormone balance, then I can't have hormone balance all over the article.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's what maybe I need this for because um I understand a little bit that you don't just stick the word everywhere because then Google doesn't like that either. But I've got also a list of my keywords.
Right. So what I've done in terms of the newsletter, not the newsletter, not I haven't actually done it for the newsletter, but for the SEO for the articles, it will it will find the keywords from the article that you've written, and
Yeah.
then it will focus in on SEO best practice. So what you would do is just have you don't have to write the whole thing out, but you can just have your ideas of what it is that you want to write about. You can then
Mm.
pop that in, and then it will write it automatically in the background with SEO best practice in mind. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think
Because
about it.
that's one of my things. I just had a lady look at my website in England and she just said you need to do a lot of changes and stuff like this. And so what I've done yesterday afternoon, actually, I sat and I copied. I'm working through my website. So on my website, I've got the homepage. I copied the homepage. I put it in ChatGPT and I asked them to tweak this, please. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then they did it. And then so I just spent yesterday afternoon about 2 hours changing I'm going to change all the content on my website and I need ChatGPT to do that for me.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah,
But
so that
I don't know if it's using the SEO words or not. I don't know.
so
On the free version, maybe it's not doing so much, you know.
I wouldn't have thought so. I wouldn't have thought the free version is rubbish. And also, if you're using it commercially, you should use the paid version.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to
Um,
try it first just to see
of
how I got
course.
on with it because
Yeah.
I didn't know all about it. And yeah, so I need it.
So what I would do is there's one or two ways of doing this. You can either create your own, which is you can either create your own, or you can use these ones that are already created. So you would just drop in your article or the content, and then it will, as I showed you, it will create it for you based on the original sentiment and the copy it is that's been provided. So if it have you got a blog post there that you can just send me a link to, but then I'll show you. Might be the
Yeah.
easiest way to do
Yeah.
it.
Hold on, let me just find you an English one. Second, hold on. No, block. Now, I actually did that on AI, actually.
Okay.
I did it on the free version. But also I have to, how
Is
can
it
I
in the
say,
chat? Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah.
what can I say? When I do the Spanish one, I have to make it's very complicated because if I've got a woman that's 65 Spanish and
Yeah.
I use word and I use words like xenoestrogens, for example, most
Right.
English people or Spanish people don't know what that is. So I have to use words like um products and products, beauty products and cleaning products that affect your hormone balance.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I have
Yeah.
to put it in layman's terms because I know what that is because that's my job to know, but they don't know that. So I have to put it in. Oh, look, there I am online. Oh God. That's the first one I've done on free.
Brilliant. Looks good.
Yeah, well, it looks better than if you look at my other ones.
Let me so what I would do then is I would create
But I put
a
those little stars in myself. I did that.
these are cute, the flowers. Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
I like the flowers. I
Yeah,
put those in.
pretty. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Instead of
Um,
bullet points, I put the flowers in. But
yeah, they're
so
nice.
so me, I've got to write it in layman's terms because this is the thing, you know.
So what I would do is I would create one that actually just automatically converts it to Spanish, but takes into consideration what you just said. So you would program it so that it simplifies it and changes the words. So it does it
Okay.
automatically. So it would just do it automatically.
Yeah.
Right. What am I doing? So let me just check something for a second.
So which one do I need? The four, ChatGPT 4. I need
Yeah, you
the
need four.
yeah, I'll do
Um,
that today. I'll do it today.
um,
And then I gotta learn then.
how good is the SEO? Let's see if it's doing it. It says the SEO can be improved in several areas. Uh, so what it's yeah, there are
Yeah, and
three.
I check it. Is this American English or is it British English?
You have to change it
Yeah,
depending.
because we don't say hot flashes. Americans say flashes. We
Yeah,
say hot flushes. So I have to change all that anyway.
yeah,
Because I haven't got an American market. I've only got English speaking people in Spain and Denmark and Sweden because my clients are basically uh, Scandinavians.
yeah. You have to program it in, not program it in. You have to tell it that you want it in English spelling.
British English, yeah, okay.
British English, yeah. So, keyword use, meta description, image, alt text. Okay. So
Oh,
it's
so,
not,
so that really is not good enough then. I can see now.
yeah, no, it's not. So what would happen is if you were writing it in one of the agents, it would resolve this. So there are two steps to this process, really. There is the writing of the article to making sure that it's SEO friendly, and actually you've got the word. I don't know if you want communication during menopause, but that's the word it's picking out.
Yeah, because that
Or
was the
name
that's
of the
what
article.
that's what it's about. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
So it's
title, you see, what you just said before at the beginning, on one of the on that one that I can't remember the picture now. You put um, finding the good title,
yeah,
finding the
yeah, the
meta.
title, the article, the meta description.
Yes, that you
Yeah.
see. When I saw that, I thought, oh, I need that because the
So,
heading is very important as well.
so here, no, not that one. Which one do I want? I want Isabel. So I use this one a lot. What it will do is it will go through, read the page, and then it will suggest
So I don't do it myself and then it changes it. I get them to do it.
right. Here, you mean in ChatGPT?
Yeah, I copied it actually on my phone. You put identify what to write about, yeah.
Yeah.
Write the blog, pick the best heading. That's what I need. Pick the best heading and create the meta.
Meta description. I just want to make sure this is, why isn't it? Uh, that'll do.
Sorry, it's a bit of a long blog.
No, long is good. Google likes long. Okay, so what it's done by copy and pasting the actual article in, it's given the actual slug that it recommends that you use for SEO. It's
Oh,
given
yeah,
the,
because I have to invent that myself and I get it and it never
it
comes
takes
up green.
ages.
I never get a green man.
It takes ages as well. It takes ages. It's done the meta
I
description.
used to pay someone to do this.
Yeah, it's done the meta description. It's done the key phrase or focus keyword, category, tags. It's done the copy for the image. So if you've got an image, actually it's missing something, or maybe it's because it's already in
The
your,
image I got off there as well.
yeah. Normally it gives the first sentence. Why isn't it giving it the first sentence? I ask it to give the first sentence just to make sure that the keyword. So if it's not in the first sentence, you can just copy and paste this and put it in front of your sentence and just make sure it makes sense. So normally what I do is I normally just copy and paste it in here because normally it's taken into consideration the first bit of copy that you've done. But the keyword
Yeah,
needs to be in the first sentence, I think it is. So
yeah.
it also sorts that out for you as well.
Mm.
The heading, so let me just get this. The one that does the
I think the
heading,
heading's too long.
let's have a look.
For me, it's too long.
So
Mandy.
she is going to read through the copy. Headline, Breaking the Silence, Navigating Menopause, Conversations with Empathy and Ease. Now, actually, what would be important here is just to add the keyword. But this will give you a different idea of the different headings. Managing menopause in the workplace, how communication can drive. Oh, okay. So for business tone, productivity, emotional tone, empathic tone. So depending on what type of, and they're much shorter.
Yeah, I have to have an empathic tone for my work.
Yeah, much, much shorter. So what was the keyword?
I think it was communication. No, it was, forgot now.
Yeah, I've forgotten as well now. Um, it was menopause communication support, communication about menopause. So that was the heading, wasn't it? It's not the heading I want, it's the SEO I want. This is the annoying thing about ChatGPT is how it saves everything. It's a bit tricky because you have to keep
So the different agents do different things, don't they? Obviously.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Okay.
Okay, learning how to communicate about menopause with friends, family, colleagues. That's very long.
I think I would just take out, I would use learning how to communicate about menopause
Oh, sorry.
is essential to fostering understanding and support. I think I would take out the friends, family, and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
For me, I would, I think,
yeah,
because obviously that's who we live with in our life, isn't it? People we work with, our friends and family. So I
yeah,
probably would take out that bit
yeah.
because I put that in. So
Ah,
it
so it's
thinks,
taking
it
it from the
thinks,
main article then.
yeah,
That makes
yeah,
sense. Yeah. See, this one is much shorter. That's more like the length you want is this length.
yeah. I feel that's better as well.
Yeah.
I looked at it and I thought that's too big.
Yeah. This is more like the length that you want, this
How to
one.
communicate about menopause is perfect because that's what I'm writing about. How to
Yeah.
communicate with those three
Yeah.
things.
Oh, so it got it. It did get it then. I did actually get it. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it reads the copy and then it makes a decision as to what the keyword is, and then what the title should be, and then what the meta description should be, and the image, and it normally includes the first sentence, which is really helpful. So there's two ways of doing this. You can either invest in the pack, so you get access to them all, and I'll be adding new ways, or I work one-to-one with people, or I have, which I do actually need to update, is self-study courses.
Well, I need something because I mean I've got a basic idea, obviously,
Yeah,
because I've been using it, but if I take the this what if I go on to the if I go on to if I go on to the paid version,
yeah,
obviously there's a lot in there. I think it's going to tell me how to do things, but I think your course, you do a course, don't you?
yeah. So I have a
Is that a cat?
self-study course. Yeah, yeah. He's so needy. When I talk to people, he's like, "Oh, give me your
My
hands."
cat used to lie across the keyboard.
Yeah, I'm like this on the keyboard. You can't tell, but I'm like, he's like, "Oh,
Well,
mum, give
I've
me
got,
attention."
Wendy, I've got two dogs under my desk.
Okay.
And that's why, my knees at the end of the day, I thought, oh, I do feel stiff. And my husband said, well, I think it's the way you're sitting with your knees bent so there's place for the dog.
Probably.
Okay, so
Yeah. It's
so
funny
I
how we
need,
move. It's funny
so
how we
what
move
do,
with them.
so what do I need then, Wendy? Tell me what I need.
I would actually,
Because I've
because
got to train. I don't know I only know the free version, that's it. So
yeah. So honestly, what I would do is this set, and I'm going to be adding every month, is £444,
yeah.
which is, you know, for what it does, is significantly good value. The training course is 333. So I would invest in these because I'm going to be adding new ones. But also, if you can tell me other ones or other workflows that you want created, I can create them and add them in because what's good for you might be good for other people. So I can
Of
create and
course,
produce.
because if you've got people doing wellness in the wellness business, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
obviously, I center because I sell a natural hormone balance product, yeah.
yeah,
But for example, now I'm going to start like what you said about if you've got your this done for you, you've got more time to do something else, right? There's
yeah,
a company in Denmark, a Norwegian company, and I've been talking to a woman in Denmark who is actually one of my sellers. There's I want to go into omega 3 and
Right.
because I have to find things. Is this being recorded still?
I'll stop it. It is. You're right. It is.